know, VC, vinyl community, friends. That's really what community leads to. It leads to friendship. That's what I think. And I think that's more important than subscriptions or any of this stuff. Friendship is a very important thing, as well as being on here talking about vinyl, being heard. It's a channel for attention, which is what a lot of us seek. So yeah, I just want to come on here, chat a little bit, talk about last year. This video is basically, it's going to be basically all the records and odds and ends I haven't shown, which I brought last year, and I just want to show them and move on. 2001 has been a difficult year, quite honestly, for everybody, particularly for me. In my case, the passing of my father, and sort of later on in the year, it just seemed to be one thing after another. Getting COVID, and then having to not spend Christmas at home. I don't know if I've gone into it on my channel, but maybe on the live streams and that I might have mentioned to friends that things have happened, and just sort of things I could have done without, really, but I managed to get through it, and I'm hoping in 2022 it's going to be a better year, hopefully. Things aren't good at the moment, regarding the current situation of politics and COVID and all this restriction and this, that and the other, and it'll probably get worse. No doubt it will. I don't know what your views are, but my views tend to be very different from the norm. But regardless of any of that, I'm trying to start off this year in more of an optimistic view. Anyway, I know there's a lot of vinyl tag videos going around, and there's maybe 2 or 3 editions now. Plus you can do your own, because there's no official vinyl tag. Not that there really was any official vinyl tag. It was just sort of, the premise was normally started by one particular YouTuber, and everyone sort of followed from that. Not that that's anything to do with being official, because what is official? What's official in a vinyl community, which isn't official. This is anything but superficial, really. But anyway, got quite a bit of stuff here. A mix of media, basically some charity items, some Christmas and birthday gifts, some items I've treated myself throughout the year here and there, and a few things which need unboxing. So I'm just going to try my best to get through it all. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get started. Right, CDs. I managed to pick up the 3rd instalment of the More 80s box sets I've been buying. I think this is the 3rd and final one they did. It's on the label Disky. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, you've got like 8 CDs here of just pure 80s hits, and they're good hits. I mean, they're good tracks. They're not overly amped up, like a lot of this music is now. It's really bricked up and loud. To a point, where it's not original. As this is kind of a happy medium. This was sort of done in the early noughties, 2006 or 5. I can't quite read that. And I think the older ones were sort of maybe like 99, something like that. So in a sort of a reasonable time period where it hadn't gone completely nuts, regarding the loudness wars. So this is a pretty good comp to get, and it's very cheap. You can get this for like £5-6 on the second-hand market. 8 CDs. That's pretty darn good value, really. A couple of tapes. Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark. Picked this up for about £10 on eBay. I still buy tapes. I love tapes. Quite different to Iron Maiden. Very different. Of course, is this Herman's Hermits. Their greatest hits. It's a compilation I've always liked. The Herman Hermits. I love 60s music. I was brought up with a lot of 60s music from my father, and he to some degree did like Herman's Hermits, and he had like a comp I used to listen to as well back in the day. So yeah, glad to pick that up on cassette as well. Some charity shop CDs. I've come across this quite modern for me. Now that's what I call music. 105. Starting to see sort of the hundreds now in the charity shops. This was £2, and it's probably a couple of years old now, but for me this is quite good, quite modern. So pick that one up. I picked up this Sade Diamond Life, then realised I already have it on CD. But a second copy is always good for the car. Bill Withers Greatest Hits. This one for £1. This classic Stevie Wonder Talking Book. Gave us a listen actually. This is a pretty solid album to get. I do actually have this on vinyl as well. I think I may have played it once, but I actually gave this a more of a solid listen actually, and did enjoy it rather a lot. I bought this Frank Stallone Day In Day Out. Like one of the old sort of cronies of sort of Frank Sinatra era. I don't really know if he was that successful really. I mean, he may have some small success, but he made a couple of albums I think, and this was one of them, and I wanted to give it a listen. Another one of Brian Ferry's, As Time Goes By. This is one of his I didn't have. This came out in 1999. This was £2. A Steve Winwood Chronicles. This too was £2. I brought most of these CDs I think in Chichester, where I was at the time. Another one of Steve Winwood, Roll With It. This is one of his later 80s albums. This Flashdance soundtrack I got a CD to $1.99 rather, and I bought this CD on eBay. It's a sealed copy of the Best of the Cowsills. Yeah, they were, I believe they're an American group, 60s group. And I've always liked the song The Rain, the Park and Other Things. It features in the film Dumb and Dumber, and that's always a film I liked actually. When I was a kid, I went out to see the cinema and saw that movie, and I've always loved it. And I've always thought the soundtrack for that movie is very good as well. I finally get this comp, and it's been one I've been having my eye out for quite a few years, but never actually got around to buying it. It's quite rare actually. You end up paying quite a bit for it these days. And of course it's on the Millennium Collection series, which I have some, I have quite a few of these already, and I'm quite happy to collect some more. Anyway, moving on. Other media. This CD, sealed CD I have, it's called The Small Case Murder Weather. I don't know anything about this. This came with a record, free with a record I brought. I'm not sure what the record was now. It's dated 2019, so it's relatively modern. I've not heard it. I've not broken the seal yet, so I don't know if it's any good. Could possibly be. Who knows? Popped into my local Tesco's, believe it or not, and treated myself to a few things there. I think this was like on my birthday or the day after my birthday, and I brought myself a couple of books. This isn't music related, this particular one. One of the books I brought was this Bernard Cornwell, Sharp's Assassin. This is the latest book written by Bernard Cornwell. I've always been a fan of Sharp, the character, the fictional character, and I've always enjoyed watching the TV series, Sean Bean, and reading the books. And this is the latest book. My father was a big Sharp fan. He had virtually all of the hardbacks, original ones as well. Some of the early original hardbacks are worth a bit of money now, and you never see them. You never see them anymore, not in the charity shops or anywhere. This is a little bit sad because this came out in September and my father died in April, and it was something I was going to hope that he was going to have a chance to read. I used to buy the books, but I kind of shied away from books quite a few years ago. I used to collect all sorts of books like Sven Hassel. I used to buy Andy McNab books, but I seem to have given them up or sold them or something over the years. So, anyway, I wanted to get this, and I wanted to read this, not just for myself, but for my dad as well. And I'm intending to put this book on his bookshelf once I've read it, and I'm almost halfway through now. And so I can put this book with the rest of his Sharp books on his bookcase at my mum's place, to say, look, there you go, Dad, this is yours, put this in your collection, happy birthday, sort of thing, or Merry Christmas, one of the two. Anyway, this one I bought as well in Tesco's, Oasis Supersonic, the complete, authorised and uncut interviews. I haven't actually started to read this at all. It's very heavy. I do have the Blu-ray of this, the documentary, and it's really good. But I don't know what the book is like, whether it's like the documentary or if it's like another chapter to the documentary. It's got written on the back, "No, it's the love and the vibe and the passion and whatever it is, the rage and the joy that's coming from the crowd. That's what Oasis is." And Liam says, "We just wanted to effing take it to the max every day, having a great time every effing day, and then if it ended tomorrow, it ended tomorrow." So yeah, just a snippet there. Another one I brought in Tesco's was this latest Iron Maiden release. Yeah, I'm even surprised that this has come about, really, because to what I've heard, Iron Maiden are they're getting on a bit now, and they're sort of, they don't look too good in shape, but they've made this album, and even though it's a bit of a slow burner, it's very, very good. You do have to give it a few listens and give it some time. That's what I've heard. I've not actually broken the seal yet to actually, listen to it myself, but this is the information I've heard. So, yeah, I don't have many modern albums, but I brought this one. Yeah, shall we go into some vinyl? Yeah, I spent a lot of Christmas in Chichester. I couldn't spend it at home. What happened was my boiler packed up at home, and I had to move out into a hotel in Chichester and spent Christmas Day over there. So yeah, it was a bit of an upheaval, but it was okay. Sort of lived on takeout food, and it was a bit different from what I wanted Christmas to be. But sometimes these things happen, and you have to make the best of it. And when we were there, we sort of went around the city, and it is a city, though it's a very small city, Chichester. Probably one of the smallest in the UK. I'm fairly familiar with the town. There isn't too many record shops around, one or two, but we went into like the charity shops, and one of them actually had their own like designated vinyl section in the back. Had like this sort of desks, stacked with all these records, and it looked quite good. And they also had a glass case which had an old Beatles album, which I think they wanted 30, 40, 60 £60 for, but I didn't really want to buy that or anything. But yeah, some of them I picked up. Not all of these. Most of these I think I bought in Chichester. Flashdance again on vinyl. This was £1.99. This Easy Rider soundtrack, which I thought was pretty good, £3.99, a little bit more. I think it's a bit of an upgrade to what I've got already, the copy I have. This is a bit more sort of in shape, a bit more. So yeah, I got that. Good soundtrack. This Christopher Cross, Another Page. This was £1.99 again. I love Jerry Rafferty, and so I was pleased to come across this. This was £5.99, a little bit more. See, look, it's got this original sticker on there for £6.99. So yeah, got that one. Another one of his I hadn't got. I saw this Paint Your Wagon soundtrack, and it actually had this actual plastic sleeve on it. The sleeve is excellent. It's really, really nice, and although I do have a copy of it already, a gatefold, this isn't a gatefold, and it's kind of surprised me a little bit, because I thought that most of them they were gatefolds, and I thought that was perhaps a little bit unique. And it was relatively cheap, £1.99, very good condition, and plus my other one I have, it skips on one of the sides. And I'm hoping this one will be alright. So, yeah, worth a shot, I suppose. Those are all LPs from Chichester. This one, I believe, was brought in my hometown. And it's a compilation. Get On This, 30 Dance Hits. It does say £7.99 up there, but I didn't pay that. I think I paid £2 for this. So it's Volume 1, including Snap, Candy Flip, Lisa Stansfield, Technotronic, Guru Josh, Black Box, all that sort of great early 90s stuff. 1990, I believe. So, the first track on there is The Power Snap. So yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, I've got to get this. And it was cheap, so why not? For my birthday, I got quite a few things. This Tom Petty, Wildflowers and the Rest on CD. This was an album of his I didn't have on CD. I have it on vinyl, but not on CD. It's got 4 discs, I believe. One is the Wildflowers album. 2 is all the rests, like extra tracks. This was a behemoth of an album originally. Tom Petty wrote a lot of songs for this, but I think MCA, the label he was with, only wanted like 10 tracks or wherever it was on the original, on the actual cut of the album. So a lot of these tracks didn't actually make it. It also has disc 3 home recordings and Wildflowers live disc 4. So yes, quite a lot on there. Quite expensive album to get as well. So yeah, thank you for my missus for getting me that. I wanted that for some time. So yeah, glad to have that. She also got me this for my birthday. This Blu-ray, Baby Driver. I have seen it before. It is a brilliant film. It has probably an even better soundtrack. So yes, I got this for my birthday, and for Christmas I got the vinyl as well. So yeah, have them both, the film and the soundtrack. And yeah, it's a brilliant soundtrack. I mean, look at some of these tracks. 2 LPs. I mean, it's got the Beach Boys on there, the Damned, the Commodores, T-Rex, Beck, Simon and Garfunkel, Queen, Barry White. It's got a mix of just good music, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, if you do see this and you are somewhat interested, I do recommend it. Yeah, for Christmas I got some more vinyl. This Blue Weezer album. I believe this was the original Weezer album. I have them on CD, but it's nice to have them on LP as well. It's got My Name is Jonas is the first track. Of course, Buddy Holly was a hit. Undone, the Sweater Song, great song. Say It Ain't So, love that song. And the last one, Only in Dreams, is very, very good as well. It's a very good album, so I'm glad to have it in my record collection. Another phenomenal band, AC/DC. This is one I hadn't got. Highway to Hell, classic album. Another AC/DC album of theirs. I can add to the collection, and I'm just glad to have anything on AC/DC. I love this band, brilliant stuff. Highway to Hell is on there, of course, is a great song, great song. Another Tom Petty. This wasn't Christmas, this was like further back in the year. I brought this on HMV website. Hypnotic Eye. This was his last album he made before he died. This album came out in 2014. And yeah, it's a pretty solid album. Yeah, it has, of course, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, it's kind of changed their tone, to a bit more sort of bluesy, a bit more heavier sort of sounding. I find in these later albums, but I do like it. So yeah, glad to have that one. I haven't got too many of his now left to complete his discography. This is a Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers. Mike Campbell made an album back in 2020. He's actually formed a band, the Dirty Knobs, and this is Reckless Abandoned. So yeah, glad to have that as well. Anything of the Heartbreakers work, whether it's solo or whatever it is, I'm always interested. Manchester bands now. The Stone Roses' first album, self-titled, classic album. I've never owned this in any shape or form before. The only Stone Roses I had was a compilation on CD, which I actually do still have. But this is a great album, great album, and of course it influenced the Oasis later on in the 90s. First track on this is just mind blowing. I Want to Be Adored is just a great song. She Bangs the Drums, Waterfall. It's got a lot of good songs on here. I Am the Resurrection. It's a fantastic album. It's just shocking that they couldn't reproduce anything like this on the second album. I think due to like poor management and things, they just sort of fell from grace. I have 2 more Oasis albums. I bought in HMV in Worthing. I bought the 2 because I wanted to complete the discography. I do actually have all their other albums, apart from these, which were Dig Out Your Soul. This came out a few years ago now. 2009, I think. Dig Out Your Soul. Is it really that old? Wow. And of course, Don't Believe the Truth. This one as well. Tracks like Layla, Love Like a Bomb, The Importance of Being Idle on there, and that one as well. It was sort of said, I remember this when it came out, it's sort of very sort of Beatles influenced. I think they wrote in the papers. But and all the other albums before then I do actually have, such as this one, Heathen Chemistry, which I think is a bit of a comeback album for theirs. Had quite a few #1 hits off that one. Standing on the Shoulder of Giants I have. It's going back in 2000 now, going into the 90s. Master Plan, which is basically an album of a lot of their brilliant B tracks which never made the album, previous albums, such of course as Master Plan, as this album is called Master Plan. And it's a bit of a mishmash, but it's still pretty good, pretty darn good. Probably the last of the great Oasis album. I think their first 3, probably their best work. Be Here Now. This isn't as good as the first 2 albums, but it's certainly definitely up there. Do You Know What I Mean, of course, was a hit. Stand By Me, I Hope, I Think, I Know. Great deep cuts on here. The Girl in the Dirty Shirt, what a song. What a song. All Around the World, It's Getting Better Man. Don't Go Away, it's a great song. What can I say? Great stuff. And they're probably their most popular album, of course. What's the Story, Morning Glory, which doesn't really need much more of an introduction than that. And probably my favourite of all their Oasis albums is the original, that raw Oasis sound. I do tend to lean towards certainly more Liam's voice than Noel's voice, which is more on this one. Although Noel does a good job, Liam just has a better frontman voice, and love it. And that now leaves me with my 2 boxed, enclosed vinyl records, which I've treated myself to. So I have two boxes to show, and I'm going to do a bit of an unopening here. Try to be as quick as I can without splicing my finger open. And we have another soundtrack. Can you guess what it is? It is Terminator 2. This film is just epic. It is probably one of the most iconic 90s movies I think there is, you know. Certainly up there, like the likes of Jurassic Park and others. Terminator 2, the Brad Friedel soundtrack, original soundtrack recording, made in Germany, and of course you got the alternative cover on there and the original, and yeah, you can get these quite cheap. Or when I bought it was relatively cheap, about £25, imported from Germany, and they're bumping these prices up as soon as they sell out. You know, certainly these old soundtracks. I know this isn't actually original or old as such, but these reissues, they will do work their price up, and you know, grab them whilst you can if that's what you're into. So yeah, I bought that. Love the film. So yes, I have that, and this one I have another. This is probably one of my expensive records I bought quite recently. Let's hope that it's all okay. Oh, just got my thumb then. Let's try and open this up. You do have to be careful when you open up boxes that you don't cut into the record or damage anything. It's easily done. Oh, we're getting there. Yeah, I get in there. Bit of paper. Yeah, this is a... Right, yeah, got it out. The Human League. The Human League Anthology. Actually, still sealed. 3 LP box set. A very British synthesizer group. All the tracks are on there. All the hits. As you can see on the top and at the bottom. What impressed me the most was it has the 90s ones, which I grew up with, such as Open Your Heart and Tell Me When. I love those 2 tracks. I think they're brilliant. As well as all the other great 80s songs I had, such as Do You Want Me? So yeah, this was actually a little bit more than what I normally spend. Yeah, but this was cheaper than, I think they had like 5 of them on eBay, and this was the cheapest by quite far. And of course it was still new and sealed. And you know, if there can be one division in price, then it can only mean that that it could go up in value, you know, in the future. So it is like a bit of an investment as well. So yeah, very pleased to have something like this in my collection. And sorry, there's a bit of glare on there, isn't there? Yeah, the Human League. And yeah, so that is it. There's a lot here, and yeah, all of that is, you know, all part of 2001. So I'm glad to finally get that out there and show you, you know, my little haul I've got here. Yes. So till the next time, guys, girls, I will see you in my next video. Take care and look after yourselves. Bye for now.